Hello friends, so today's video is going to be a list of some anticipated fantasy releases for the month of April. As always, I'll be going in order of projected release date, and then I'll have both pre-order links as well as the projected release dates in the description bar down below so that if you're interested in any of these, you can check them out. Before jumping into it, a big thank you to GlassesUSA.com for working with me on today's video. I was using their service way before I was ever working with them, and I absolutely love working with them because I do genuinely love their glasses, the selection, the variety that they have in their frames, the different colors, and the service itself, because I like not having to go down to a store and pick out glasses from a limited selection. I like that there's a lot of different glasses that I can choose from, and I can do it from the comfort of my own home. This particular pair I will have linked. I wear all the time. It's clear, so I feel like it goes with everything. And they have a lot of other ones too if you're looking for something more bold, if you're looking for something a little bit more edgy. They have so many different ones that you can choose from. They have a try-on feature, which is fantastic. But anyway, a big thank you again to GlassesUSA.com for working with me. Back to the video. I'm going to start with Engines of Chaos. I can't say too much about it because it's a sequel, so I don't want to read the description. It might give away some things about the first one. That was one of my favorite books of last year. I read it very early in the year, and then it just felt like I kept waiting for other things to match that level of amazing epic fantasy, so I can't wait for Engines of Chaos. The first one follows 5 perspectives, 4 of which are a part of the Hawksburg Guild, and you see the matriarch and her 3 children as they are trying to navigate advancements in technology, how that pushes back against religion, faith, and magic, but then also how that is interconnected with politics. Now getting into ones that are not sequels. First up, we have Blood Debts. This one's description says, 30 years ago, a young woman was murdered, a family was lynched, and New Orleans saw the greatest magical massacre in its history. In the days that followed, a throne was stolen from a queen. On the anniversary of these brutal events, Clement and Christina, the 16-year-old twin heirs to the powerful magical dethroned family, are mourning their father and caring for their sick mother. Until, by chance, they discover their mother isn't sick, she's cursed. Cursed by someone on the very magic council their family used to rule. It sounds really interesting, really good, and also I like fantasy books that have sibling bonds, so I'm very interested to see how they handle that. Really quick, I didn't mention, probably don't even really need to mention, Sanderson's Secret Project comes out in April as well. The ebook should be released April 1st. We should be getting it right at midnight. And then, of course, gradually for those of us that ordered the physical copies, those will come in when they come in. So I'm very excited about that one as well. Really quick, I know a lot of people did not want to see the title until they got their book, but when I review it, I will be using the title in the title of the video. So if you don't want to see that, I just want to give that heads up now. I didn't even know that that was something that people were worried about seeing, so apologies if you were one of those people and you were sad because you ended up seeing Tress of the Emerald Sea. But for this next one, I'm going to refer to it as Secret Project 2 until it's released, and then when I do my review, I'm going to use its title. So just want to give that heads up in case you want to stay clear around the very beginning of April. Next up, we have The Last Heir 2, Blackwood Library. And Goodreads is so frustrating because I accidentally had typed in The Last Heir of Blackwood Library, and it was like, that book doesn't exist. And I was like, I know it does. And then I discovered that I used of instead of to, and then I was annoyed at Goodreads for being terrible with their searches. Anyway, the synopsis for this one says, in post-World War I England, a young woman inherits a mysterious library and must untangle its powerful secrets. With the stroke of a pen, 23-year-old Ivy Radcliffe becomes Lady Hayworth. Ivy has never heard of Blackwood Abbey or of the ancient bloodline from which she descended. With nothing to keep her in London since losing her brother in the Great War, she warily makes her way to her new home. The abbey is foreboding, the servants reserved and suspicious. But there is a treasure waiting behind locked doors, a magnificent library. Despite cryptic warnings from the staff, Ivy feels irresistibly drawn to its dusty shelves, where familiar works mingle with strange, esoteric texts. And she senses something else in the library too, a presence that seems to have a will of its own. Aside from Secret Project 2, all of these have been projected for April 4th, including this next one, which would be Silver in the Bone. This says, a series opener inspired by Arthurian legend and fueled by love, revenge, and pure adrenaline. Tamsin Lark didn't ask to be a hollower. As a mortal with no magical talent, she was never meant to break into ancient crypts or compete with sorceresses and cunning folk for the treasures inside. But after her thieving foster father disappeared without so much as a goodbye, it was the only way to keep herself and her brother Cable alive. 10 years later, rumors are swirling that her guardian vanished with a powerful ring from Arthurian legend. A run-in with her rival Emrys ignites Tamsin's hope that the ring could free Cable from a curse that threatens both of them. But they aren't the only ones who covet the ring. As word spreads, greedy followers start circling, and many would kill to have it for themselves. While Emrys is the last person Tamsin would choose to partner with, she needs all the help she can get to edge out her competitors in the race for the ring. Together, they dive headfirst into a viper's nest of dark magic, exposing a deadly secret with the power to awaken ghosts of the past and shatter her last hope of saving her brother. The only one that I have for April 11th would be Untethered Sky. This is by Fonda Lee, who many of you know is the author of Jade City. So I'm really excited. I thought this one sounded so cool. I have heard that it is essentially like a novella, so it's going to be very, very short. I've heard good things still, but novellas are not ones I tend to gravitate towards. I don't find myself usually feeling as though there's enough time for things to develop, but I definitely am still interested in this one, and I'll try to get around to it. So it says, from World Fantasy Award-winning author Fonda Lee comes Untethered Sky, an epic fantasy fable about the pursuit of obsession at all costs. A most anticipated in 2023 pick for Polygon Book Riot Pace magazine. Esther's family was torn apart when a manticore killed her mother and baby brother, leaving her with nothing but her father's painful silence and a single overwhelming need to kill the monsters that took her family. Esther's path leads her to the king's royal muse, where the giant rocks of legend are flown to hunt manticores by their brave and dedicated rookers. Paired with a fledgling rock named Zara, Esther finds her purpose and acclaim by devoting herself to a calling that demands absolute sacrifice and a creature that will never return her love. Terrifying partnership between woman and rock leads Esther not only to the Empire's most dangerous manticore hunt, but on a journey of perseverance and acceptance. The following week, we have the conclusion to a trilogy that I have absolutely loved. The first book would be The Bone Shard Daughter, and I cannot wait for this third book. I'm so excited. But I'm also a little nervous because it is the end of the series and I'm a little scared. But this is one of those stories that I think it's almost best to go in without knowing a whole lot. And when you first start it, it won't really matter whether you know much or not because you're going to be confused for a little while. But when things start to click into place, then everything becomes so cool and so fascinating and you can't help but find yourself wanting to know more. What I will say is that it is somewhat of a hybrid between fantasy, horror, and in some ways, depending on how you view certain themes, I would say it leans into sci-fi. So I really enjoyed that first book so much. I think the second one feels more fantasy heavy. I think we lose some of that genre bending feel, but still absolutely phenomenal. There's also an animal companion, mythological creature companion that I loved. The characters are, I found to be ones that I really enjoyed being with. I think that's all you really need to know. It's so good. I can't wait for that third one. We also have a book called The Warden that's supposed to come out that same week. That sounds quite interesting. This one says The Warden is a non-stop action-adventure story from author Daniel M. Ford. There was a plan. She had the money, the connections, even the brains. It was simple. Become one of the only female necromancers, earn as many degrees as possible, get a post in one of the grand cities, then prove she's capable of greatness. The funny thing about plans is that they are seldom under your control. The last one for today is scheduled for the 25th of April, and it is called Ascension. It says, a mind-bending, speculative thriller in which the sudden appearance of a mountain in the middle of the Pacific Ocean leads a group of scientists to a series of jaw-dropping revelations that challenge the notion of what it means to be human. An enormous snow-covered mountain has appeared in the Pacific Ocean. No one knows when exactly it showed up, precisely how big it might be, or how to explain its existence. When Harold Tunmore, a scientist of mysterious phenomena, is contacted by a shadowy organization to help investigate, he has no idea what he's getting into as he and his team set out for the mountain. The higher Harold's team ascends, the less things make sense. Time moves differently, turning minutes into hours and hours into days. Amid the whipping cold of higher elevation, the climbers' limbs numb and memories of their lives before the mountain begin to fade. Paranoia quickly turns to violence among the crew, and slithering ancient creatures pursue them in the snow. Still, as the dangers increase, the mystery of the mountain compels them to its peak, where they are certain they will find their answers. Let me know what your anticipated releases for April are. Let me know if there's any on this list that you yourself are wanting to check out. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.